Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Thank you for joining us here at our state's capital. I'm Chris Wallace, president of the Texas Association of Business, our state chamber of commerce. We are the leading broad-based conservative business association that advocates for sensible public policy to grow, maintain a pro-business climate in Texas. I am joined today by Dub Stewart of GSD&M, Caroline Joyner of TechNet, and several other TAB members and business leaders. Thank you all for being here. The Texas legislature has for many years worked tirelessly to create tax, regulatory, and public policy that has made Texas the economic envy of the United States. Now, as we look ahead to the legislative session, which begins in just 5 short weeks, we're here today to talk about common sense steps that can be taken to protect the Texas economy from enormous harm. We now face overwhelming data about the risk of damage to the economy and reputation of our great state, resulting from legislation that would allow for discrimination. Business from across Texas have come together to urge the Texas legislature to reject discrimination and embrace public policy that keeps Texas open for business. Recently, the Texas Association of Business commissioned a study with St. Edward's University to project the potential impact of proposed laws. Like the ones we have seen do significant economic harm in the states like Indiana and North Carolina. Today, TAB and our Keep Texas Open for Business Coalition supporters are releasing that report, which shows the discriminatory legislation is bad for business. Our economic study points to the dire and far-reaching impact of such legislation on Texas businesses, our communities, our families, jobs, and the larger state economy. We must keep Texas open for business. We cannot slam the door on the Texas miracle of openness, competitiveness, economic opportunity, and innovation. The research found that Texas is at risk of losing as much as $8.5 billion in GDP annually. This loss would impact 185,000 jobs of hardworking fellow Texans. These are conservative projections based on hard data that tracks with what is happening in other states at this very moment. Experts have put the economic damage from North Carolina's discriminatory HB law at $630 million already, with more losses expected unless the law is repealed. Other estimates project that the economic impact could be as high as $5 billion annually in North Carolina, and Texas' economy is much greater in terms of size than North Carolina's economy. The negative impacts of discriminatory legislation, such as the proposed Senate Bill 92, are widespread. 1, difficulty in recruiting and retaining talent. 2, reduced ability to attract the next generation entrepreneurs and innovators. 3, declines in our thriving travel and tourism industry. And 4, less competitive for the relocation or expansion of both large and small businesses. The vast majority of TAB members are small businesses, and small businesses and entrepreneurs will be hurt most by this type of discriminatory legislation. When a convention cancels in a small city, large or small city, it drastically impacts small businesses. Some examples. The restaurant that would have served out-of-town visitors would lose money. The ride-sharing and taxi drivers that would have shuttled visitors around would lose money. The florist, which would have provided centerpieces for a gala dinner of that convention, would lose money. These small businesses are the heart of our Texas economy and Texas communities, and they are frequently the ones most impacted by economic downturns. These businesses employ local people. They pay taxes and work hard to make a living, to make a difference in the lives of their employees and their customers. They rely on a thriving tourism economy, a booming commerce, corporate investments, and bringing high-paying jobs to their communities. We need to protect our small businesses that are 2.4 million strong in this great state and represent half of our state's workforce. Let us learn from what is occurring in North Carolina and other states and let us reject unnecessary legislation and regulation and stand up for the Texas economy and the livelihoods of Texans all over this great state. The message from the Texas business community is loud and clear. Last month, 300 of our small businesses called discrimination bad for business, and almost 1,200 Texas employers have signed a pledge through Texas Competes that calls on the state to be welcoming to all people, including LGBT people. Texas is booming. Our $1.6 trillion economy is the second largest in the United States, and our travel and tourism industry is second only to oil and gas in Texas. Protecting Texas from billions of dollars in losses is simple. Don't pass unnecessary laws that discriminate against Texans and our visitors. Keep Texas open for business. Don't slam the door on the vibrant diversity and economic strength of our state. Thank you very much.
I'm proud to represent a company that was founded in Austin, Texas by 5 graduates from the University of Texas who wanted to stay together and stay in Austin and to make a difference. And for the past 45 years, we have been part of the Great Texas Miracle. Today, we employ over 450 people, and we have 22 clients, and we operate in both Austin and Chicago. And we've enjoyed tremendous success in large part because of the access we have to highly talented and skilled workers who want to live and work in a place like Texas. The GSD&M culture encourages everyone to bring their best selves to work each and every day. And we need a Texas that reflects those values, not just because it's the right thing to do, but because it's the only economically smart thing to do. Creativity, as you all can imagine, is at the core of GSD&M's business. It's also at the identity of Austin, Texas. And we rely on a diverse pool of talent to maintain that creativity. And should Texas be perceived as a hostile work environment, it would hinder our ability to attract and retain the kind of talent that make up our unique city and allow us to deliver the creativity that we do each and every day for our clients. Discriminatory legislation would dramatically impact our ability to grow Texas, grow GSD&M, and increase our contribution to the state of Texas in the form of local and state taxes that not only benefit our schools that could use a little help at number 48, our public safety, as well as our community values. This is a real-world issue for many Texas businesses, both large and small. And I encourage you to join us all in our efforts to keep Texas open for business. We are proud Texans at GSD&M, and we will continue to fight to keep Texas open.
My name is Caroline Joyner. I'm Executive Director of TechNet. TechNet is the national bipartisan network of innovation economy CEOs and senior executives. Our diverse membership includes dynamic startups, some of the most iconic companies on the planet. We represent about 2 million employees. The technology industry has long led the way in making workplaces respectful and inclusive of all people. That inclusion is a big part of the recipe for success that has made America and Texas such a leader in technology and innovation. Our people are our businesses. They fuel the innovation, the creativity, and the daily work that in turn fuels our industry's success. And when we pursue discriminatory legislation, that continued success is jeopardized. To echo Duff's comments, we have serious concerns about the potential impact on this type of legislation that will have on our ability to recruit talent. We are already facing a serious shortage of science and technology talent in this country and this state. It is not over-exaggerating to say that the tech community in Texas is locked in a war for talent, competing globally to attract and retain the best and brightest. Sorry, got some wind here. Boys will blow away. We invest heavily in culture, in training, in diverse workforces, and in top-notch facilities, all to ensure that we remain competitive. And as we recruit, it is clear that talented workers of all ages value inclusion of their LGBT peers in the workforce. It is becoming clear, too, that the workplace is no longer the only litmus test when it comes to job selection. The talented 21st century worker is looking for not just a workplace, but also a city and a state that are free from discriminatory practices. For our long-term growth and competitiveness, Texas employers cannot afford to give workers a reason to look elsewhere. We believe that it is crucial to our business interests to speak out now, before it's too late, about this potential legislation. Texas has established itself as one of the nation's premier tech hubs, but we are at risk of cutting off our talent pipeline if we do not send a clear message that the Lone Star State embraces inclusion and diversity. We will oppose any legislation by any name that would legalize discrimination, that would in turn impact our workforce recruitment efforts and undermine our long-term commitment to diversity and inclusion. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Hugh Forrest. I am the Chief Programming Officer of South by Southwest. Founded as a music conference and festival in 1987, South by Southwest has been fortunate to experience tremendous growth over the last 30 years, as well as to expand into the fields of film, education, and interactive technologies. The growth and expansion means that South by Southwest now attracts thousands of creative professionals from across the United States and around the world to Austin for 2 weeks of learning, discovery, brainstorming, networking, and deal making. Above and beyond the $326 million economic impact that South by Southwest brings to Austin, we have helped establish an internationally recognized 21st century brand for both the city and the state of Texas. This is a pro-business brand of innovation and opportunity, and demonstrates that together we value the ideas that create exciting new partnerships, exciting new jobs, and exciting new growth. Having helped establish this world-renowned and highly desirable brand, we at South by Southwest are extremely concerned about the negative impact of impending statewide legislation. Having helped establish the proposed expansion of the Texas Religious Freedom Restoration Act will be divisive and counterproductive, like similar legislation elsewhere, and South by Southwest is adding its voice to the many others who oppose it. South by Southwest supports the Texas Association of Business in opposing any discriminatory legislation. Moreover, as an organization, South by Southwest unequivocally supports civil rights for all persons everywhere. Government should not deny its citizens freedoms based on ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious beliefs, or place of birth. Thank you for your time.
My name is Celia Israel. I'm a state representative, and I'm a small business person. I'm a member of the LGBT community, and I wanted to be here today because in my years of activism and now my years as a public servant, I've never seen the business community step up in the way that they have. I think today is just a beginning. They recognize that. But I knew that TAG and our business partners were going to be there for us, and it's gratifying to have that support. Transgender Texans and LGBT Texans should not be a wedge issue. We should be treated with respect and dignity. And our transgender children do not need to be bullied. We're going to have anti-bullying legislation play a prominent role this session, and it's just ironic that our state leadership is promoting policies that will, I think, exacerbate bullying. There are real human consequences. But I would say to our statewide leaders that if the moral argument doesn't touch you, I hope that the business community with their facts and data will touch you and will resonate with you. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate it.
I too want to thank the business community and the Texas Association of Business for stepping up. I think that's a huge statement. This is really about Republican primaries. It's not about necessary policy. I'm very grateful that in the House, Speaker Strauss has got us focused on the things that will make a difference in the lives of Texans. We're going to be looking at one of his specific agenda items is to continue to support and grow small businesses and encourage entrepreneurship. This is the kind of thing that just gets in the way of that kind of work. The House will be focused on those things that matter to growing our state. And I think that it's very clear that this is not about that. And so I am really glad that we at least have some grown-ups on the House side, and I think we'll be working really hard to make sure we do stay focused on the things that we need to be focused on: education, infrastructure, healthcare, those kinds of things. And with gratitude to Duff Stewart and GSD&M for the Don't Mess with Texas, I would say don't mess with Texas business. Thank you.
This is extremely important. A city like San Antonio, who has been host of the NCAA Final Four many times, the NBA, All-Star Game, so many things that, so many conventions where we work and compete nationally. Passing this bill would be tantamount to just saying, we don't want your business, go away. And then the other thing that I find highly ironic of all things is that we're a don't mess with Texas, as was said by my good friend Donna Howard, but a small regulation. Let's regulate businesses less. Let's eliminate that. But when it comes to bathrooms, we want you to regulate. So I've asked several elected officials if they have signs on their bathrooms at home that say men or women's only, because if they don't, then they have transgender bathrooms in their home. We all do. We all want people to just get in their bathroom and get out and do their business. We don't care. And I think that we have laws on the books already that protect people. If anybody says this is really about protecting people, we have those laws on the books. And every time I've tried to pass a no texting and driving bill, I've been told that we already have laws on the books to take care of that. We don't need more new laws. Let's just enforce the laws we have. Let's not talk out of both sides of our face when it comes to Texas. Let's be honest with each other and say what this is really about. And if this is about politics, go campaign when it's campaign season. Right now it's time to govern, and governing does not mean hurting Texans and hurting Texas businesses. So this is a twofer. Not only do you hurt Texans who don't need to be have prejudice or have discrimination against them. And back home in San Antonio, there's a young lady. She's a lawyer. She identifies differently than she was born. She wears a suit and a tie like I normally do. And so she asks a friend to go to the bathroom with her so that she doesn't have problems. Can you imagine if this law goes into place and then people feel like they have to have a bathroom police? What is going to happen to that person and to so many other people? Is this really necessary? I know it's not. We know it's not. I want to thank Texas Association of Businesses for standing up and understanding that this is ridiculous and not necessary. Let's not play politics anymore. Let's just get down to the business of governance. And Donna, we do have a few adults in the Texas Senate as well. Thank you.
I would like to thank the speakers for being here this morning and all of our supporters. The Texas Association of Business is certainly proud to represent thousands of businesses and 200 local chambers of commerce throughout Texas, who in turn represent millions of Texas workers. Texas has built a state that is legendary for attracting and retaining businesses, creating jobs, and supporting tax and regulatory climate that is welcoming. Texas laws need to reflect that optimism and openness for which we are so well known. We cannot take our reputation as open for business for granted, and we cannot send mixed messages to businesses looking to invest, do business, and relocate here by creating barriers. We have seen this play out, unfortunately, in North Carolina, and we understand that what is happening there in the last 9 months could very easily be at a look in terms of our future here in Texas. And this is why we oppose any legislation that could be used to discriminate against any group. Texas businesses make up more than 60% of the tax base in our state. We expect our taxes as business leaders to be spent improving education, improving infrastructure, economic development, and healthcare, our core issues impacting our state, and not passing or considering unnecessary laws that make it harder for Texas businesses to compete and grow. Together, the Texas legislature and the business community have worked together to make a strong, more economically vibrant Texas. During the legislative session, we will need all lawmakers to focus on critical issues like public education funding, transportation, child welfare, and property tax relief. We cannot and should not be distracted by legislation like so-called bathroom bills that are not only unnecessary, but also pose a significant threat to our ability to grow our state's economy, recruit businesses, and cultivate talent. This is why TAB is building a coalition of businesses that are working together to keep Texas open for business. Businesses such as Apple, IBM, Celanese, Intel, and many, many others that are standing up to make sure that Texas businesses are heard during this next session. We invite all businesses and citizens of Texas to join us. You can go to keeptexopen.org, keeptxopen.org, our website, to engage, to act now, tools and letters to send to state senators and representatives, tell them that you oppose this sort of unnecessary legislation. Thank you all for being here this morning.